All right, so I'm not going to go through every single bit of it because we've got tutorials and all this, but I do want to show you the essentials of how everything works. We're going to go through kind of quickly. What you do is you're going to set up a profile. So I'm just going to go in here and I'll just show you what a profile looks like. So this is my profile. Think about like an email sender profile. I got to know, who am I, right? So I'm Bill. This is me. This is where I live. This is my my postal information. Sender, right? So I want to know, like, when I'm sending that email, what's the sender name? What's the email address? We want to set up your SMTP settings. We send ours off of Amazon S3, Amazon SES. There's a ton of different STMP services out there, and absolutely you can set it off of your server. This is the way to get started. You put that information in there. Don't worry if this feels technical, it's not a big deal. This information, you can get it all out of your cPanel. Okay, so once I set that thing up, I want to get started, right? So let me do this real quick. So you set up your data sources, right? So data source, I just added the CSV file. I literally, and I'm not going to do it right here, but I named the file. I'd say dentists, right? If I'm in a prospect dentist, I upload the file. I choose the profile that I want to connect it to, lickety split. I've got a data set that is ready to be sent out. So here's where things get really fun. So I'm going to add a campaign. I'm literally just going to name the campaign, right? So I'd say like, dentist campaign. Let's just put that in there. Say dentist. Okay, cool. Great. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set up my email, right? So let's say I add an email. And here's how it's going to work. It's so simple. So I'm going to name this email. I'm going to say like dentist campaign, right? Then I'm going to connect it to dentist campaign. Awesome. And this is my profile. Just making sure this is our safety measures that verifies things, making sure everything's connected. We're all good. We keep going. And at this level, all I have to do is insert an embed code. So if I have my video on YouTube or Vimeo, I literally am just going to put the embed code right here. I'm going to copy. I'm going to paste it. It's ready to go. I've got that form that I want to talk about, right? Like that form, that reply device. I put that on another URL. I'm going to put it right here. The system will automate that redirect over to that form reply. We can actually try to force autoplay if that's something that you should be doing. So we're all set up there. Then I set up my email, right? So I'm going to be like, need more leads, right? Okay. So I'd put my, I put my email in here. That's the text version. I put my email right here. We've got all these kind of cool customizations for you, giving us the information. So if I want to pull in data, and if I've got first names and last names and countries and stuff like that, and we'll keep adding, I can set up my email right here. Really nice, really simple. Okay. That's the email. It's just like if I was going to send an email. Very simple. Here's, I connect my data source. Again, we do that. Okay, so I've got my email ready to go. The last thing I have to do, and the last thing that I want to do, and this is where it gets really cool and really fun in my opinion, is that I'm going to create custom actions. And this is the behavioral-based triggers that we have that become automated. So I'm just going to go over here. So here's an example of what a behavioral trigger would be. Let's say I want to know, and by the way, this is what's being tracked. So we actually push your SMTP server to send the email, and when we do that, we can track practically everything. So I know if someone's opened an email or if they've not opened an email, right? Oh my gosh, I know that information. So let's say, for example, one trigger I want to do is to say they opened the email. This is like an if-then scenario. They opened the email, but they did not click the link. That means that those folks have not consumed my message. I'm going to follow up with them, and what I'm going to do is I can create, and let's say, well, okay, I'm going to give them 24 hours. If they haven't done all that, if they haven't clicked that link 24 hours, I'm going to send this trigger, and let's create that action. So I'm going to email the prospect, right? So now I tell the system, okay, I want to email the prospect, and let's email them. And so I actually just write my email here, hi prospect, right? Blah, blah, blah. So I see, obviously you don't say, I see that you haven't watched my video, but what you do at this point is you say, it's a repetition at this moment. It's an automatic drip that's getting them over to your video. We're following up. we sent out this information, you know, blah, blah, blah. And you just kind of, you do that information, and you put that out there, and this becomes automated. So at that point, it's ready to go. The system starts to watch what happens. If this person opens the email but doesn't click, I told it 24 hours, my follow-up email is going to go out the door to them automatically. Obviously, I want to keep drawing them into my video and keep moving them toward my reply device, right? So all that stuff starts just really dovetailing. You don't have to do anything. After you send the initial email, you don't have to do a damn thing, okay? So let me give you another couple of examples of what to do. So let's say that I said here, okay, they started my video, but they did not finish it. Man, that is the ability to keep going. You've got someone who, what that's really saying to me is your video didn't hook them. So you need to send them a different video, but you got someone who opened an email, who started to watch the video. Oh, okay, well, I don't know. Or something came up, or I got to close this, or I was on my mobile, and you know, I want to go, you know, now I got to go to my desktop or whatever, right? So you set up that automation. Okay, so let's keep going. Here we go. Okay, this is the fun about a live demo. I lost my train of thought. All right, so I've got all this stuff set up, right? Now, once I start to, here we go. We generate links for you. So a link would look like this. You'd say, okay, you know, grab that link, ready to go. You put it in the, I'm not going to hit this, but I hit the send, and it puts it right into the queue, and it starts to roll out for you, right? So SMTP does not blast everything at once. It starts to trickle out for you. It's a safety precaution on your host server's deal. Very often, they'll send a maximum of like 5,000 emails. So let's say that you had a prospect universe of 100,000, right? You wouldn't want to work with one list, in my opinion. This is just some strategy. I would break those down, and you can just start to send out and drip out smaller amounts of email. Okay, let's keep going. So what happens? How do I know what's happening? What do I end up doing? How do I take even further action? This, by the way, folks, this is how I made all my money. This is how I made my money, right? So I would do a lot of email follow-up based upon behavior, but at some point, you're going to have some kind of at least a voice conversation, right? At some point, someone's got to know that you're not full of crap and that you do speak English and that, you see what I'm saying? So how do I start to roll out and know what's happening? So I send out, so this is our metrics, right? And we're going to continue to enhance this based upon what you guys want to see and what you want to know. So this is a kind of an overview of all my campaigns, and this is different emails that I've sent. So here's where it gets fun. I'm going to click in at the email level. We'll just use something that we did internally. And all right, so here's what happens. And this is really, really powerful. Now we sent this actually out of GetResponse, so we don't have our opens, but we do start to have our clicks. We have our video starts, basically they hit the page. We have the actual video starts. We have video finishes, right? And we didn't do a submit here, but it would track the submits. So let's think for a second. What did I tell you? All you're ever trying to do is separate your prospects from one another. You're trying to identify people that have a proclivity for working with you. We need to see behavioral data. So here, I'll open this up so we can see more. So what's more important to me, the person who did not open, did not click, did not view, or the person who did view? Right? And so even that, the person who viewed our messages more than once, they become more valuable. So even within that, I'm able to start to simply score what's happening, right? So this guy Dave here, Dave Dale, if you're on the call, hey Dave. So Dave watched our video and finished it 5 times. Dave becomes a much more valuable prospect than the person down here who opened, who clicked the email, started, but it wasn't for them. They decided not to. So just right here, I am able to, and if I've got the courage, which I do always have the courage because I like to make money and I got to pay my bills, right? So that's how I find my courage. Get a picture of your kids, get a picture of your grandkids, get a picture of an island, wherever you want to do. put that in front of you, and that should give you the courage to pick up the phone and call the right people. Let me tell you exactly what I would do. I would know that someone had watched my video, right? And I would give them about an hour. I'd give them about an hour because I would get notified, right? I'd get notified they'd watch my video, and I'd give them about an hour. And I'd call them up, and I would say, hey, this is Bill. Recently sent out some information about who we are, what we do, and had a little video in there that talked about our services. And guess what would happen? Was that a cold call, by the way, folks? Is that a cold call I just made? Hey, there's still a lot of people on this call. Do not go away. I want to hear from you. Did I just make a cold call? If I know that Dave has watched my video 5 times and my script says, hey, just following up on this video. Joel, you're right. Larry, you guys are right. No, it is not a cold call anymore. Hell no, Chuck said. Here's what would happen. I'm talking 98% of the time. This is why I crushed it. 98% of the time, Dave would say, yeah, that's funny you called. I just was watching that a little bit ago. That was awesome. Yeah, I was meaning to call you. And now suddenly we're talking about the video. Now suddenly we're talking about our services. And now suddenly, I can start to kind of control the conversation. Hey, I was just calling to check. We had some people who said they weren't getting it. I'm sure you're busy. Would love the opportunity to connect with you. How would you like to do that? Right? I have boxed that guy in. He's going to say, hey, yeah, it's not good for me right now. How about next Tuesday, right? And you go 2 o'clock or 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock's generally, and you can start to set those kind of appointments or whatever. Obviously, this is something you can do with your salespeople. And then as well, you don't even have to do the phone call. I do it because I like to close business quickly. I don't like to screw around, and I never felt like I'm in the sales game to not talk to people. Like if you need to sell something, folks, it's a contact sport, buddy. So look, so here's what we would do. So I'm able to I can grab this, and we're actually updating this information right now. Literally, the development team within the next 24 hours is going to have this set up in a way where we can start to get even more data. It may actually be in the script, but I don't want to click around too much, so that you can actually click there and his information is coming up. Rich continues to get, Rich, are you continuing to get 404 errors? Hopefully not. Okay. So what's cool as well is now I'm looking at Dave, and now I'm looking at Dave as an individual prospect, and I can see that Dave, he's interacting with the sales page. He's interacting with more than one thing. So when I start to consider Dave as a prospect, I am suddenly going, oh man, this guy eats up everything I'm doing, right? Why can't I get this guy on the phone? Why can't I get him an email? Every time I send an email, he opens, he clicks, he does multiple views. I've got to figure out a way to do something because Dave is a hot prospect. He's just difficult to pin down. When I'm able to do that, that's where personal videos come into place. I mean, that's when you send a personal video. When I know that Dave is sitting there watching my videos, but not filling out my forms, not replying back with who to talk to, then suddenly I've got, Good, Rich. Then suddenly I've got a huge personal connection. So listen, I'm going to take a quick breath real quick, take a sip of water, live demo complete.